Hello and welcome back to Fire Emblem The Last Promise 0% Growth's low turn count playthrough. This video will be tackling both chapters 11 and 12. These are the first maps of Anakin mode. Just like FE7, we had Siegfried mode, which was basically Lid mode, and now we have Anakin mode. Every single lord that has come up so far, including Anakin himself, Kellic, Sean, and Siegfried, will reappear at different points during this mode and will be deployed, forced sometimes, and willingly some other times. Anakin is force deployed in every single map coming forward. We are introduced to 4 new units in Chapter 11, which is a simple kill boss map. Kevin rejoins, but on turn 1 we are introduced to Ace and Anakin. Going over them in order of increasing importance, we have Ace. He's a 5-move generic soldier with access to decent weapon ranks, he has D-rank lances, and his stats are okay enough to hold up in combat until around Chapter 15, where he will never be used willingly again. He's able to kill enemies in this chapter because enemies have just barely weaker stats than him, but he's a very weak Lancelot unit. Up next is Eduardo. He has better stats than Corbin in literally every single area, including HP, aside from move, and he has access to a personal Brave Lance that has 4 might. He has 9 personal strength, and while the Brave Lance only has around 60 hit, it's a weapon that allows him to one-round weak enemies like soldiers and even some Myrmidons, up until he stops being deployed, which is at least nice. After that, we have Karina. She's not on screen now, she'll appear in fact on turn 3 NPC phase, but she's also worth talking about early on. She has incredible stats, to the point where she will be getting deployed in almost every single chapter after she joins, despite joining in Chapter 11. She will be taking an energy ring that we get in Chapter 13 in order to be able to consistently do things later into the game, but she also benefits from using it earlier on. She has, among other things, 10 base strength, so with a +2 on promotion, 30 HP, 12 base skill, 12 base speed, which is incredibly nice, 5 base res, and 10 base defense. She also has 11 luck, which is 6 higher than the base luck of another unit that will be joining later, or sorry, 8 higher than another wyvern that will be joining later. She is an incredibly strong unit held back by a couple of things. Notably, she has no growths, obviously, and her base lance rank is only C. She needs to climb to A rank by Chapter 20, so she'll be doing a couple of things that are a bit strange in this chapter to do that, including 2-rounding the boss using a javelin of all things. The village that Eduardo visited, if visited by Karina, which we obviously can't do in an LTC playthrough, would give us a white gem, which would sell for double the amount of money of the blue gem that he actually got, but it's enough money for now. Up last, but most importantly, is Anakin. He's the main lord of this, and as a result, he'll be seizing a lot. You might have noticed that he had a button called Motivate. It does exactly what it looked like. It allows him to function as the version of the dancer in this game. He promotes in after Chapter 18, which the most important thing about that is that he gains an additional point of movement. After that, his combat is completely atrocious, but he can occasionally take 1 or 2 rounds of combat with enemies, especially considering he starts regenning 4 HP at the start of every single turn. It's not always 4 HP, but that's the amount he regens in 0% growths. He's able to survive a couple of rounds of combat post-promotion, and his light rank does not matter whatsoever. He's just going to be using the basic light tome every single map that he's deployed in, because it gives him evasion over dark mages, and those are the scariest enemies he'll regularly be fighting. His stats are kind of not important, but you saw them there. The most important one is he has 20 HP and decent speed, so he avoids getting doubled by a lot of enemies that he ends up having to fight before promotion, and by the time he's getting doubled by enemies, the only enemies he's really fighting have low hit on him due to having dark magic or having inaccurate weapons. At the end of this chapter, after Karina kills the boss, getting her first kill of the run, and among other things, her first 5 lance rank, we get accosted by an NPC named Logan. He tells us to trust him, and if we do, we'll be sent to an absolutely terrible map. It's a route map or kill boss map, depending on what the game tells you. I don't know, I've never played that version of the map. We get to recruit a terrible NPC called Logan, who has really, really bad stats, and he's not worth recruiting whatsoever, even in a casual playthrough. You also get a worse stat booster on a unit that joins. Instead of an energy ring, you end up getting either a secret book or a Draco shield. Again, I can't really verify. And, just like that one infamous tweet about Thracia, you're fighting at constant weapon triangle disadvantage, because until around turn 4, almost every single unit you have is primarily locked to lances. During Chapter 11, we also visited an armory and sold the blue gem. We bought ourselves an iron bow, an iron axe, and an iron sword. The iron axe and iron bow are for a unit that joined in Chapter 13 and Chapter 14, for the axe and bow respectively, but the iron sword is for Eduardo, so he's able to regularly fight pirates in Chapter 13. By choosing not to trust in Logan, we go to Chapter 13b, which is what you'll be seeing later on. This is Chapter 12. Chapter 12 is the introductory map of Kellic. We also get Altares back. We also get a paladin named Levion. We're not going to be talking about him, all you need to know is that he's able to one-shot almost every single enemy on this map with the weapons he joins with, and as a result, due to his 8 move, he's going to be the primary way we deal with this chapter. Kellic is a unit with very, very similar stats to Shuda, but with better in most areas. He's faster, he has more skill, he has more bulk. Well, he would have more bulk without the secret mode stat boosters given to Shuda. Kellic, when he promotes, has 7 move, and Kellic, thankfully, is also able to seize thrones. There are a couple of chapters where if I deployed him alongside Anakin, he might have been able to save me a turn here or there, but I didn't do that because his stats are generically not very good. Kellic, when he promotes, also gains a plus 15 crit bonus, which is at least nice for the couple of rounds of combat he has to fight after he promotes. He has to reach promotion level by chapter 20 just for the sake of experience and sanity, and in doing so, he'll also be training up his sword rank. His sword rank never ends up mattering, but I thought during the production of the old run and this current run that he would end up needing to reach A-rank swords to use a silver sword at one point. He also has a personal weapon called the Flamberge, and unlike in the past run, he's not going to risk breaking it. It's 1-2 range, which is nice, with 37 uses and some inbuilt crit. He's able to use it to one-round a couple of enemies at 1-2 range in the upcoming chapters, but it's not super relevant. It's mainly good to help him get experience. He's traded off of it so that so that the enemies here don't really burn uses of it, which didn't end up being as important as I thought it would be. He'd be able to kill some of the enemies if he had it equipped, which would be better for his experience, but he overshoots his experience benchmark anyway and hits level 10 during chapter 17. So he has 2 maps of leeway, one of which he's force deployed in. He's able to exactly one-shot that thief, and because we don't see Levion for a while, after we check this and we get the items with Altares, which includes a boots and a white gem, Levion hands over his items, including the very important Dragon Axe for chapter 20, to Kellic and leaves, clearing the map in 4 turns, which is the same turn count as chapter 11. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time for chapter 13b, the very edgily named Predators of Death. Goodbye.